Hey, what's good, y'all? Yeah, man. So I want to touch on this topic, man, and it's a pretty intriguing and interesting topic, I would say, you know what I mean? Depending on people's interests, but it's definitely interesting to me. I know a few people out there have heard or are familiar with the submersible, right? That the news told us imploded when it went down approximately 2.5 miles deep beneath the surface of the ocean to embark on visiting the Titanic. You know what I mean? I guess going to visit the Titanic to get a closer look at a ship that sunk in 1912, that the universe obviously sunk in that deep of water because it didn't want people to view or see or come in contact with. So, with that being said, when I heard about that, and I heard about the amount of money that the individuals spent for this voyage to ultimately meet their demise, it made me want to do some researching on the actual Titanic itself and the events that happened on that morning of April 15th, April 14th into April 15th of 1912. And as I got to doing a little research, you know what I'm saying, and taking notes and things of that nature, it's a lot of interesting things, right? It's a lot of interesting things uh about the ship, about the individuals on the ship, and about a lot of arrogance, you know what I'm saying, and things that was put out into the universe in regards to the ship, the Titanic. Now, the Titanic, from what I've read, what I've researched, was what is considered an ocean liner. An ocean liner is actually a luxurious ocean liner. It was owned by the White Star Line Company. Okay, and there were two other ships which were sisters to this Titanic ship that were owned by them as well. And I'll get into them later. Now, an ocean liner differs from a cruise ship because a cruise ship doesn't go from continent to continent, and cruise ships don't deliver mail. Um, the RMS Titanic did deliver mail, and so it did travel from continent to continent. So if you wanted to travel, you know, you would get on an ocean liner. If you wanted to have a vacation or something like that, just see, they would travel in luxury. It wasn't about them just having fun out on the water in luxury, you know what I mean, or going to some little island, you know what I'm saying, and spending most of your time on this cruise ship in the ocean. It was actually for them to get from point A to point B. And like I said, they will also deliver mail. You know what I'm saying? I believe it's all types of mail, federal mail, whatever. They had an actual mail room where they would ship mail from one continent to the next on these ocean liners. And RMS, um, it's a lot of different meanings for these boats, you know what I'm saying? And it's got um like a lot of different codes for what they mean, like as far as you got SS, um HM, HS. SS stands for steamship. So if something says it's a SS and then has a name behind it, like the SS Omen or something like that, it's SS means it's a steamship. If it says RMS, which was a RMS Titanic, that would mean it's a Royal Mail ship. Now, these ships were constructed in the United Kingdom, over there in UK, in Belfast, I believe it was. And HMHS like the HM. What was HMHS? Let me see. Which one was HMHS? I'm looking for my notes now, y'all. I'm trying to look. I don't see it, but one of these ships was a HMHS, and that stands for His Majesty's Hospital Ship. Okay, so the Britannic, which was a sister ship, that was the HMHS. So that was His Majesty's Hospital Ship. So it was called the HMHS Britannic. And then you had the RMS Titanic, and you had the RMS Olympic. The RMS Olympic was the first giant ocean liner that was made before the Titanic. The Titanic was made after the Olympic. And the Titanic was deemed as the unsinkable ship, right? It was supposed to be an unsinkable ship. That's what they put out there into the universe about the Titanic. And it was supposed to be the most luxurious. After the Titanic was made, you had the HMHS Britannic. That was the hospital ship. That was the ship that catered to wounded soldiers in World War I. I'll get to more about those ships, but I wanted to tell you the first three from the top. So you got these three ships. You've got the Olympic, you've got the Titanic, and you have the Britannic, which was owned by the White Star Line. Okay. So with that being said, let me see here. Checking my notes, y'all. So, as they're traveling, as people have aborted the Titanic, you have people, who couldn't afford to get on or whatever. They have family or whatever that's getting on there, or they just want to see some of the rich people who are publicly known as being so wealthy aboard the ship so they can, fare them well or whatever, you know what I mean? And so you've got about 4 guys in particular who are known for being some of the richest on that boat and in the world. And there was one in particular who was the richest on the ship. His name was John Jacob Astor. Okay, he was the richest man on the Titanic, and it is reported that he had a personal. This is how they deemed worth back then. It wasn't a net worth thing. It's worded as a personal fortune. Now, he had a personal fortune of approximately $150 million, right? $150 million of a person. Okay, so if they're saying his personal fortune was his net worth back then in 1912, if that was now, according to inflation, you know what I'm saying, and how money is different, the worth of money is different from then than it is now. If that was him now, he would be worth, with this 150 million, he would be worth approximately 2.4 to 2.5 billion today. 2.4 to 2.5 billion is what he was worth back in 1912. Now you think about that. You think about it. Damn, wasn't currency they just made currency? How the hell you make all that damn money? I'm just saying, God, that's a lot of damn money. And it's ironic because he would be worth 2.4 to 2.5 billion, and 2.4 to 2.5 miles is how far down the damn Titanic is. Ain't that something? I don't know where that came from. That's kind of weird. I don't know, but that's something, whatever. That might just be nothing, you know what I'm saying? That's just something to think about, though. Okay, so John Jacob Astor, he divorced his wife. His wife was, I believe, around his age. I'm not sure exactly how old he was, but I think he was in his 30s. You know what I mean? Late 20s to 30s. You know what I'm saying? His wife was around that age, and he divorced her for a young tenderoni, little 18-year-old. All right, and she was pregnant, and she was aboard the ship with him. You know what I'm saying? When they were on their way to New York City from Belfast, and so he married his wife. He divorced his wife and married a young woman who was 18 years old. I don't know if I have her name, but she survived. I do know that she survived. We'll get to that later. But I'm gonna name the other three people who were prestigious and well known for their wealth, who were also aboard the ship. And the other guy's name was Benjamin Guggenheim, George Widener, and Isidore Strauss. Now, Isidore Strauss was the original owners of Macy's, the Macy's company. I'm pretty sure people are familiar with Macy's. You know what I'm saying? Macy's is still around. So, it's crazy because it said that he was given an opportunity to get off the damn boat, and he turned it down because he wanted all the women and children and stuff to get on there first. So he refused to get on there, and it's crazy because they was trying to force his wife to get on there, and his wife said, I'm not leaving my husband. I came here with my husband, and if it's meant for me to die with my husband, then so be it. And she stayed with her husband, yo. Now that's a wife. That's a wife. You know what I'm saying? So according to the movie, if you've seen the Titanic, the movie The Titanic, I'm talking about the one that they made in the 2000s. Was it the 2000s when they made the Titanic, or was it the late 90s? What's his name? Leo DiCaprio. The one that Leo DiCaprio, is that his name? DiCaprio played it. Whatever. Hip. You know the guy. The guy. You know with the chick Rose was on the boat. That one. That Titanic. It's depicted in that movie. You'll see a man and a woman laying in a bed. A man in back of his woman holding his woman as water is coming into the ship, and they laying on a bed. That was supposed to be Isidore and Rosalie Strauss. That's who that was supposed to be depicted in the movie. That was them two who stayed there together and decided to go down with the ship. She wouldn't leave her husband. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, whatever had happened, by the time all the boats were dispatched or whatever, I guess it was too late for him or his wife to get on there, so it was what it was. But that was the whole reason they claimed he wouldn't get on the boat, because he wanted the women and children to get on there. Not sure about George Widener and Benjamin Guggenheim, but they died as well. They didn't make it. Their bodies were recovered floating in the water. Jacob Astor, his wife was immediately put on a lifeboat. He was told he couldn't go with his wife. Now, I'm confused about that, because why the fuck, how is it that the Macy's owner, Isidore, was offered a place on a lifeboat, but John Jacob Astor wasn't? He's worth more than all of them. Why would they tell him that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not really understanding how they said the last time he was seen, he was clinging to a piece of cabinetry in the middle of the fucking icy ocean. Ain't that's crazy? How, you would have think one of the first people that they would have allowed on one of them boats would be him. And I mean, even though I know this is a fucked up situation, if it is a man that you're going to let on a boat, that's a passenger. Listen, this is what I would think. He's a billionaire. It's a few things that you don't forget. You don't forget who did you wrong. You don't forget who owe you money. And you don't forget who saved your damn life. Now, people can view it whatever way they want. But if you save a billionaire life, I'm pretty sure he's going to make sure that he take care of you when he gets back to his money. I'm pretty sure of that. So the fact that he wasn't treated like you would expect him to be treated, that makes my eyebrows raise, man. It made me think of conspiracy type shit. It's some weird stuff going on with that damn Titanic, man. I'm telling you, man, it might take a while for me to get through this, but I'm going to get through it, because I've been doing some serious research. You know what I'm saying? Like, really. And so I'm not understanding that. How he ended up the richest man on the damn boat clinging to a piece of cabinetry. I don't know, man. It just, you know. And so you got a guy named J.P. Morgan, okay? If you're familiar with that guy, you know what I'm saying. I know that he was with the creation of the Federal Reserve or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You know, the Federal Reserve, they're in charge of taxation, you know what I'm saying, and interest rates and all of that type of shit, and managing the money that's in circulation. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of shit the Federal Reserve did. Like I said, they were just coming up with this shit. Now it's said that Benjamin Guggenheim and Isidore Strauss were two guys that were against the creation. They opposed the creation of the Federal Reserve, and that could be, you know what I mean, a reason why something could have been set in place to where, you know, Titanic could have hit the iceberg, or, you know, it was set up that way or whatever, you know. I don't know. But it's just something that was said. It was never nothing that was proven. But what was proven is that J.P. Morgan at the last minute canceled his ticket. At the last minute, J.P. Morgan canceled his ticket. He never aborted. He was supposed to. Supposedly he was sick or something like that. So, you know what I mean? He canceled his trip or whatever at the last minute. And it just so happened that he was beefing with 2 or 3 of the guys that was on the boat over some financial type stuff or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, ownerships of this, and, you know, who's going to be in control of this and control of that and all that. And it just so happened at the last minute, he said he ain't getting on the boat. Ironically, then the boat run into an iceberg, and then all the richest guys on the boat dead. All of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of them. All the richest guys except for the damn engineer of the Titanic, Bruce Ismay, his punk ass. He hopped this punk ass on the lifeboat. How he get on the lifeboat? Yeah, Bruce Ismay. You know, he was the ones that made the testimony of the events that happened that night. You know what I'm saying? And it just, I don't know, man. It just, I don't know. Something don't sound right about that, you know. So that's who JP Morgan was. You know, y'all can do some more research on JP Morgan, because I didn't. You know what I mean? I didn't feel that he was all that important, being as though he wasn't on the ship. But I feel that the fact that the timing in which he canceled his trip, he canceled his ticket, was pretty odd. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's something that shouldn't be dismissed. Now, John Jacob Astor, he got his fortune from basically selling furs. You know what I'm saying? Fur, in a fur trade company. And he had different fur trading companies in America. Okay, and let me see. Let me go to my notes and see some of this other stuff that he was famous for. Astor invented the bicycle brake. They say he invented the bicycle brake, dude. He helped develop the turbine engine and a pneumatic road improver. In 1897, he built the Astoria Hotel in New York. Now watch this. Astoria Hotel in New York, adjoining the Waldorf Hotel, which was built by his cousin William Waldorf Astor, called the Waldorf Astoria. It's like, it's how many Waldorf Astorias is it now? It's a few of them. I'm pretty sure people have heard of the Waldorf Astoria. Okay? And he also owned 2 other hotels, the Hotel Regis and the Knickerbocker. So he owned those hotels, and he was big in fur trading. You know what I'm saying? And fur trading was big back then, you know. So those were his accolades, you know what I'm saying? And what he was about. Let me see here. Okay. Let's talk about the other 2 ships. Like I said before, you have the RMS Olympic. Once again, RMS stands for Royal Mail Ship. So this was the first Royal Mail ship. It wasn't quite as luxurious as the Titanic, but it still was considered luxury, you know what I mean, compared to mail ships prior to that. prior to them being built. And so this ship, 2 years prior to the building of the Titanic, crashed into a boat at sea. The front end crashed to a boat at sea, and the front end, is the front end the hull? I don't want to get that wrong, man. I don't know what the fuck. But anyway, the front end of the boat, it was smashed in. But it wasn't smashed in enough. It didn't do enough damage to the boat to cause it to take in water and sink. So that boat made it back to shore. So I guess while that boat was under construction or whatever, builders, engineers, they want to start building another boat. And they was going to call it or deem it the largest boat ever made and the unsinkable ship. Now, it wasn't that much larger than the Olympic and the Britannic, but it was a little, by some feet. It had it was a little longer, you know what I'm saying? A little maybe more wide, but they were around about the same size. They were around all about 50-ton ships, okay? They're all around about 50 tons. That's a lot of ship, especially back then. The technology, to me, when they went back and showed how these ships really looked in that time, it was amazing to me, man. They had electric heaters on that ship. They had electric heaters, a few electric heaters in places, not everywhere, but in certain places. It was really advanced for that time, man. So I was in awe when I saw that. You know what I'm saying? It made me more so want to learn about it. And so as they're building the Titanic or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if the Britannic was already built. It's starting to rain, y'all. So if y'all hear a little bit of something, it's raining.